Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 261 of bulking to 75 kilos with calisthenics only, and today, it's a squatting day. I'm trying to squat 75 kilos on one leg eventually, and today is another squatting day. Now, it's gonna be a bit of a less is more approach. I'm gonna use less weight in order to recover more. Now, don't take this the wrong way, don't think to yourself, well, if I'm gonna train less, I'm gonna make more gains, because that's not the case, Less is more in this case means I'll do less and be able to recover more for the next session, which is gonna be insanely heavy, insanely long, and insanely difficult. So in order to prepare myself for that one, I want to just allow a bit more recovery. So I'm gonna keep my legs fresh with today's session, less weight, because if you just keep doing the less is more approach, every session, day in, day out, you don't need more recovery, because you're always going to be recovered if you don't train enough, right? The only thing that you're going to be missing is fucking gains. It's less gains, it's going to be less training, less gains, not more gains. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So what I'm going to do today, I have 24 kilos instead of, lately I've been using 44, and I'm going to do slow squats, It's less weight, but I'm going to do them controlled, 3 seconds down and then up. And basically it's gonna burn the fuck out of my triceps, but it's gonna hopefully be a bit more kind or less stressful for my joints and just my CNS in general. So yeah, let's get started. Maybe I should mention, I don't know how many sets yet. I'm basically gonna put a max of 10 sets today and see where I end up. I'm gonna try to do 6 sets of 6 reps until failure, and then once I hit failure on these slow and controlled reps, I'll move on to normal reps. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, if I'm hidden, I'm sorry, I'm sitting in the couch, but on the left leg especially, these controlled squats are very difficult, and at the moment I've done 3 sets. I feel like another set will be fucking impossible, but when it comes to these less is more trainings, you're doing it controlled, whatever the fuck, you're already being protected by the way you execute your exercises. You're not able to push your entire body as hard if you keep form to such a high standard. So only my quadriceps are gonna be tired from this workout. All of the recovery is gonna be focused on quadriceps. I don't need to protect myself further by not trying to go to the max, So it's the same mindset, just like any other training. What if you can do one more set, set by set, try to go as hard as possible. Fuck. And just like that, one more set was done. On to the next one. Fucking hell. Alright. I failed on my weak leg. I always do my weak leg first, because then I can just match the amount of reps my weak leg failed at on the stronger side, I had an injury and surgery on the left leg, so my left leg is a bit weaker, but by making sure that the left leg is never doing anything less than the right one, you know, the difference in strength will decrease bit by bit. If I go to my max first on my right leg, and let's say I did 6 reps on this set, but I only get to 4 on the other one, that means that this one has less reps in the you know, for gains, if you get what I'm saying. But if I do this one 4, and then the other one, it's just a match, it's even. And this one went harder, so it's gonna grow more. So that's kind of the philosophy behind it. If you have an imbalance, be sure to use that technique, you know. Always do your weaker side first. All right, let's go. All right, so that's the slow sets done. 5 sets in total. Now I'm gonna do a couple more sets with normal tempo squats. You know, those are gonna be a bit easier because the time under tension is way less. I can execute them quicker, more efficiently. You know, I don't have to explain that stuff. It's just gonna be easier. Same weight, but easier execution. And I'm gonna do a couple sets of those. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go until failure. Depending on how I'm feeling, I'm gonna do sets of 6 to 8, and probably 2 or 3 sets of those in total. But I have a very good quadriceps pump already. Holy shit. All right, fucking hell. 2 sets of 6 reps will be a good intensity. What the fuck? All right. Okay, so that's it for today's workout. And you know, it's 2 voices fighting in my head. One is telling me that I'm a fucking pussy and that I should go harder, do more sets, that I have more left in me, which is true, you know. I have more left in me. I did controlled sets, which I'm not used to, so I don't know how to push myself as hard as I normally do in this controlled fashion. But at the same time, you know, there's this other voice in my head telling me to keep it down a little bit because I know what's coming up on Saturday. Saturday is the next squatting day, and I have 10 sets of 4 reps with 44 kilos planned, which it's gonna be an insane PR. It's gonna be super difficult. It's gonna, you know, it's stressing me the fuck out already. So I wanna be ready for that, you know. I wanna be able to give it my all on that session. And if today, you know, perhaps I push it too hard, like I pushed hard today, but not like the previous session, for example, you know. This one was undoubtedly easier. I don't have to lie about that, but you know, I do less today to recover more, you know. Less is more recovery. And I'm gonna use that recovery, I'm gonna put it to use in the next leg day. Now, if you take this less is more approach for every training you're fucking doing, guess what? Less is not more, you're just being, you know, less is lazy. You're just being a bit of a wimp, probably, you know. And if you're not serious about training, that's fine. If you're not serious about your progress, but you know, sometimes you get people like, hey, I'm not progressing. Why the fuck would that be happening? And well, you know, sometimes you have to just push yourself. That's why maybe you're not progressing, you know. You just should rather do a little bit too much every now and then and find out where your limit is, find out how hard you can push yourself, rather than always playing it safe and not doing enough and not making progress because of that. So, you know, less is more, because doing less allows you to recover to go harder next time. That's how you should put it to use. But that's it for today's training. Quite happy with how it went, you know, but you know, the stress for Saturday is already starting to boil up significantly. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Tomorrow is going to be hamstrings. I'll see you then.